love the way I look. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I came to this country when I was 7 on the back of a pickup truck. My parents wouldn't let me wax my mustache, shave my legs. They're like, who are you shaving your legs for? I was super skinny. I think I was like 90 pounds. Didn't have my first real boyfriend until probably med school. It was a journey for me. I didn't get my confidence because of how I look. I had my confidence because of what my mom told me. My mom always told me, you're so beautiful. You're so smart. You have so much to offer. And so I think I took a journey like this to loving how I look.
How much of like your procedures do you feel makes you love the way you look?
It doesn't matter as much to me because I have done so many other things that I gain confidence from. My confidence comes from my core values and on the inside, but I'm able to also be artistic. And I love to sculpt in the past and I love to draw in the past, and now I get to do that on humans and make them feel great.
So what procedures have you done on yourself?
So the first 2 procedures that I started with were Botox and filler. Filler in my temples, under eyes, laugh lines, lips, marionette lines, and my entire jawline. Botox and my bunny lines.
Can I also say this? And this is a question, right? How many of y'all would go to a male surgeon, no matter what he looked like, and be comfortable with him? Now, how many of y'all would go to a female surgeon and be equally comfortable if she had tons and tons of wrinkles, had jowls, had sagging, had a body that was out of shape? I bet you there would be a difference. Please comment below if you think you would have a difference of opinion. Because I do think there's also this pressure for female surgeons, especially female plastic surgeons, to maintain a certain level of beauty, care, what have you, in order to be able to promote ourselves in a way. I have no shame in my game. I am who I am. The most that I do is Asian skincare, because South Korea is the truth. That, 1 unit of Botox once a year. But I'm not above getting more frequent Botox. I'm not above getting some filler if I feel like I'm losing some volume where I used to have it. I think there is a standard of beauty for plastic surgeons even that exists, but it's really only for female plastic surgeons. Male plastic surgeons don't have to jump through these hoops. I'm not saying woe me, woe is us, no, but I'm saying it's interesting, right? Because I think if I see a plastic surgeon and she looks out of shape and old, I might not necessarily trust her as much. Even being as evolved as I think I am and being as accepting as I think I am, I think there might be a question in my mind, like, is she capable, if she looks like that, to make me look like I want to look? Interesting question.
Here, and my masseters, because I also get lockjaw if I don't, because I clench all the time.
I would love to get some things done, have a little more money in the bank. Obviously, nobody loves themselves 100% when they look in the mirror. I mean, maybe you do, but...
Because you only had one procedure, right? It was just the lips.
Yeah, just the lips, and I've had Botox. Well, Botox, it literally makes your face look so much clear. I don't know how to explain it, so...
Like filters you.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it goes away, so I don't have it right now. And then my hair is fake. Something happened in college, and literally all my hair fell out. And it was like, my hair was like so much of my beauty. It was like my identity, and I spent so much money on like K-tips.
Do you think that you would be sitting here right now as an agreeer, I love the way I look, if you didn't have these procedures done?
No.
I personally have never been more confident in my entire life. And it's a little bit of a problematic statement because technically it is a mental issue that maybe I could have gone to therapy for and not done the bodily changes. It would be irresponsible for me not to acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, I make money off my looks, and I've always loved the fake, exaggerated look. It's always what I wanted and admired for myself. I'm very happy with how I look now.
I also recognize that a lot of my stance comes from a place of privilege, because like I said, I've never had to have braces. Like, I didn't really have to do a lot to be conventionally.
Thank you, Nikki, for saying it, because I feel like that's the one thing that doesn't come up, right? So these people who have the ability to look down on others who have not had plastic surgery, And I don't mean that literally. I don't think people who don't get plastic surgery actually look down on other people, but I do think that if you were born conventionally pretty, you have a privilege that extends far beyond your imagination, right? So you can say, yes, I've never had anything done, thank you, this is all me. And I will be the first to say that, but I have to realize and I have to acknowledge that that's a privilege that I can never really be divorced from. It's a privilege that's inherent with being pretty. And so this conversation is a little bit weird too, not just because there's a plastic surgeon in the mix, but also because if you look at all of them, they all look pretty beautiful. They're beautiful girls. And so, beautiful women, I should say, sorry. But not one of them, looking as they look today, would be considered ugly by any means. For the ones who are promoting natural beauty, more power to them. But I'm happy that Nikki is acknowledging, hey, I was born this way. And so I never even had to think about my looks and be critical of them from that standpoint. Society never told me implicitly or explicitly that I'm not worthy or I'm not acceptable as I am from a very superficial standpoint. If you ever get that message, there has to be some thought about that, what that feels like. There has to be some empathy there that we have to exercise to really understand people who get plastic surgery. There's something that they were told that they internalized. Yeah, please acknowledge pretty privilege in all of this conversation.
Passing as attractive, you know what I mean? Like I just kind of existed and I was like, yeah, thanks guys.
Fair enough. Yeah, I hesitated walking up because I feel like if I was going to put it into perfect words, it's that I fall in and out in love with the way that I look on any given day.
Yeah.
And I think everybody experiences that.
Yeah.
But I've been sort of training my brain as I'm developing, growing into myself to care more about being healthy and having health. I feel like that exudes beauty in a lot of different ways. And knowing that the moments where you do not love yourself are not really founded in reality. There's just something that we're creating for ourselves, or society is creating, or social media is creating, that don't need to be listened to as much as we're listening to it currently. So that's why I walked forward, because I do feel at the end of the day it's all love, and like the whispers that we get that aren't love are not to be listened to.
It's very interesting.
Every day, all the time, throughout each day, I'm extremely judgmental on myself and just the entire world and my worst critic. I'm super perfectionist, even though I absolutely know that there is no such thing as perfection. I can't say that I look at myself and I'm like, yes, no. I'm always nitpicking at myself on a mental, physical, emotional aspect. I definitely think that I put judgment on the way I look from unresolved trauma that happened, and it's this weird mirroring effect that I have, but I still haven't had a day where it's 100%, I love myself 100%. I love that I know that I'm in control of my progress and of the fact that life is just a process.
My whole family we had big chins, right? So that was one of the things,
It's really interesting that Giselle did not step forward at the beginning of the prompt, right? Because but it highlights exactly what it is, right? And what I said before, which is if you find 5, 6, 7 things that you don't love about yourself, the problem is not yourself, physically anyway, right? The problem is much deeper than that, and that needs to be addressed first. Going back to this idea of plastic surgeons prey on insecurities of young women, Giselle is the exact type of patient that should have been asked to speak with a mental health therapist first, to better understand what she didn't love and the why, and to reconceptualize what for her means to be beauty for herself. So Giselle has obviously had work done, and to be quite fair, it looks like she's had a lot of work done. I can name a few things now: the nose, the lips, maybe even the chin, the breasts, and the booty, right? That's almost her entire body that she's had work done on. And not one person has stopped to say, Giselle, wait a minute now. Or at least it seems that way to me, right? It seems that not one person has stopped to say, Giselle, wait a minute now, you don't need all of that. You're a beautiful Puerto Rican girl, you don't need all of that. But instead, she has all the work done and still can't show up and say, I love the way that I look. That's very, very telling and very sad for me to know that.
I kind of shaved down because we just all have the chin. I've done a facelift, I've done my nose, I've done my lips, obviously, my forehead, done my body, obviously.
Gotcha.
And then I do maintenance, right? So I do my Botox, I do my fillers. There's times where I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch. And then there's times where I'm like, oh my God, I feel too fat. You know, I've struggled with weight all my life. But I don't think we'll get the stuff that we had done if we were truly happy with what we saw in the mirror. That's just my opinion.
Do you feel like, though, because of, you know, the procedures that you did, that you do love the way you look more?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the reason why we do our teeth and we do those things, because we didn't like what we saw, you know, whether you want more pronounced nose or whatever you want. If you're going to use those things to change yourself, to be happy and to love yourself, do it, but also know that, and I'm only talking about visually, because if we go down the mental health thing, then that's like a totally different topic. But visually, I feel like if we were happy or really loved the way we look, we wouldn't do the things that we've done.